My 40-year-old husband fell in love with a 20-year-old intern. He cheated on me, buying the girl expensive gifts, luxury car, clothes, and finally met her in bed. My Jessica was furious and went to the intern's workplace to call her the other woman. Everyone knew my husband cheated on me. The next day, he appeared before me, looking completely lost. Sarah, what should I do? Lily won't talk to me. Can you help me find a way to coax her back? I can't live without her. I smiled weakly. My legal husband was asking me to help him pursue another girl. I looked David in the eyes and told him seriously. Let's get a divorce. He froze, a childlike fear in his eyes. He instinctively refused. I sighed softly. What do you want to do then? I don't know, Sarah, I don't know what to do. I like Lily, but I can't lose you either. After all these years, I'm used to your presence. From dating to marriage, we had been together for 20 years. He was a surgeon, so most of the time, to help him focus on saving lives, I kept his life perfectly organized. From the big things like clothes and food down to his ties and socks, I prepared everything for him. He didn't have to worry about a single thing in his daily life. Perhaps this was what had infantilized his thinking. It allowed him to tell me about the virtues of another girl right in front of me. Sarah, you don't know how good Lily is. She gives me cold medicine whenever I cough. When I get wet in the rain, she's the first one to give me her coat. So you shouldn't have let your Jessica cause a scene at the hospital that day. She's such a sensitive girl, she must be so sad right now. He said it as if it was the most natural thing in the world. Suppressing the sharp pain in my heart, I asked him back. What about me? You only see her sadness, don't you see my pain? When you broke your bone, I was by your bedside. When you were too drunk to walk, I IED you home. She just gave you some cold medicine and a coat, and you think she's incredibly wonderful? David fell silent. He spoke slowly, uttering one sentence. Isn't you being good to me expected? You're my wife, you're supposed to do these things for me. But she's different, she's just a young girl, her being good to me is special kindness. His logic stunned me. So, everything I had done for him over the years had become nothing more than my expected duty. In the end, all I got was his remark that it was just what I was supposed to do. I sniffled, deciding to give up on him. All right, I'll call the girl over and ask her face to face why she's ignoring you. The other woman's name was Lily. She had proactively added me about half a month ago. She posted on social media posts almost every day. Every single picture was of photos taken in hotel rooms. She deliberately left the background noises from the room on. Every time I clicked on a photo, I could hear her clingy voice and David's breathing. I looked at her latest post/update. There was only one sentence. So what if I knew I was the other woman? This is the new century, everyone has the right to pursue happiness. The accompanying picture was the diamond ring David bought her. I didn't reply to her because I knew these posts were set to be seen only by me. She was intentionally posting them to provoke me. I saved all the photos and videos, preparing to use them as evidence. Then I clicked on her profile picture and sent her a message. I don't know what you want from David, but since you're willing to be the other woman, come over to my place. Let's the three of us talk things out. It was almost 5 o'clock when Lily finally came to my apartment. She didn't come alone, her Jessica was with her. I looked at the tall girl and said to her, "You just graduated university, are you in such a hurry to get married?" The tall girl looked flustered, she quickly waved her hands, saying it wasn't her. Another shorter, darker-skinned girl stood behind her and spoke to me. "Sarah, I'm the one dating David. You've been at this for so long, you don't even know who your competition is?" I looked at the girl wearing glasses, who seemed a bit plain, and was stunned for a moment. I couldn't believe my eyes. In university, I was the recognized campus beauty queen, and the university social media page mentioned me several times. But now, I had lost to a girl like this? She had stolen my love? David walked towards Lily hesitantly in front of me, looking like he wanted to get close to her but was afraid of making her angry. This cautious look made me laugh out loud. I used my index finger to wipe away the tears from the corner of my eyes, not letting them fall. I took a deep breath, suppressing the hurt in my heart. David, you really should go see an eye doctor. I said this to David, but Lily's expression changed. She clutched her heart, frowning. Only David believed her exaggerated acting. For the first time, he yelled at me. Sarah, I asked you to help me win Lily back, not to upset her. Don't you know she has a congenital heart condition? He scooped Lily up in his arms, laid her flat on our bed, touched her forehead, and gently told her to breathe slowly. That gentle look reminded me of him 20 years ago. The first time I started hyperventilating, he was the first to notice, and the first to cover my mouth and nose with a paper bag, helping me breathe normally. His voice was very gentle and calm. Sarah, relax, you're too emotional. That's right, just like that, breathe deeply through your nose. Now, I felt my hands and feet going numb again, and the person who used to gently tell me to breathe slowly was busy taking care of another woman. I leaned against the wall to steady myself. I heard David's voice from the bedroom. Lily, relax, breathe slowly, that's right, just like that. Lily, you're very beautiful. Sarah is just jealous. An old woman can never look as good as a young person, no matter how much she takes care of herself. Lily giggled, her laughter reaching my ears. I covered my ears. I couldn't listen anymore, I couldn't. I fumbled around for a plastic bag, couldn't find one, and could only cover my mouth and nose tightly with my hands. The numbness made me unable to stand. I squatted in the corner, curled up, trying hard to calm down and regulate my breathing. Sarah, use this plastic bag. I didn't know when David had come out of the bedroom. He saw me squatting in the corner. He gently lowered my hands, held the paper bag over my mouth and nose, and guided my breathing. Just like 20 years ago, he was there to help me. My heart stirred slightly. The numbness quickly subsided. He looked at me with a scared expression, his tone carrying a hint of subtle blame. Why are you hyperventilating again? I was right here at home, you should have let me help you. If Lily hadn't asked me to come comfort you, I wouldn't have known your symptoms flared up again. I stood frozen in place. I stared numbly as he held my hands and massaged my limbs. From the bedroom, Lily called out, David, have you talked to Sarah? Is she willing to make me chicken soup? I'm hungry. So that was why David came out of the bedroom. I wanted to laugh, but I couldn't. Before I could speak, David opened his mouth, pulling me back to reality. Sarah, go make a pot of chicken soup. Lily loves it the most, her face always looks much rosier after drinking it. Chicken soup, I would make it 3 times a week and take it to the hospital for him. Just because he said the chicken soup I made was delicious, so delicious that he would only eat it by himself. I looked at David, pinching my fingertips, trying to calm my emotions. So, how many times did the chicken soup I specifically made for you actually go into your mouth? And how many times did the meal I spent a whole morning cooking end up in the other woman's stomach? David didn't dare to look me in the eyes. Lily is still young, and her parents live far away in a small town. Just let her have it, she's not having an easy time alone, and she has a heart condition. She said she wants to drink the chicken soup you make right now, so just go to the kitchen. I remember there happened to be a fish in the refrigerator. I walked past him and looked at Lily in the bedroom. She didn't look at all like someone with a congenital heart condition, she seemed healthier than I was. The moment our eyes met, she clutched her heart again. Hearing the sound, David panicked. He ran back into the bedroom, not forgetting to remind me. Sarah, when you're making the chicken soup, remember to add sugar. Lily likes things a little sweet. I tried to hold back my tears. I failed, and tears dripped onto my hand. I wasn't so pathetic as to make soup for the other woman. I packed up my valuables and left the home I had lived in for 20 years. The first night, David didn't come looking for me. The second night, he sent me a text message, asking what clothes he should wear for a meeting. The third night, he called me, asking when I was coming home. I didn't say anything. I held the ultrasound scan I had just printed. Closing my eyes, all I could hear were the doctor's congratulatory words. Miss Sarah, congratulations, you're pregnant. I couldn't be pregnant. Right after we got married, because I said I didn't want children, David went and got a vasectomy against his parents' wishes. So there was only one possibility: he had reversed it. 2 months ago, there was a sentence on Lily's social media posts. Thank you, husband. Just because I said I wanted a child, you went the hospital for a checkup and became a healthier man. At first, I didn't know what this meant. Now, I understood. He had surgery at the hospital so he could have a child with Lily. But then, caught up in the moment with me, he forgot he wasn't sterile anymore. A wave of nausea washed over me. My sound of vomiting also carried over the other end of the phone. David's voice sounded anxious, as if he wished he could appear by my side the next second. Sarah, what's wrong? Did you skip breakfast again? I told you, that's bad for your stomach. I didn't answer him. There was silence on the other end of the phone for a while. Then, I heard David say, Sarah, I know you don't want to see me right now, but tomorrow is our 21st anniversary. He sent an address, saying he had a surprise for me. I looked at my phone. The location he sent was where he and I first met, a park. At that time, I was still a first-year university student, volunteering at an event when I saw him. Surrounded by a group of older people, he was wearing black clothes and a white baseball cap, and he instantly caught my eye. 20 years had passed. The handsome young man had also become a middle-aged man. The next day, I still went to the park. The environment there hadn't changed, only the people had. At noon, he didn't show up. I bought something to eat nearby and continued to wait. At 6 in the evening, he still hadn't arrived. I smiled, amused at my ill-timed soft-heartedness. I opened my text messages, preparing to send him the divorce papers. Just then, I saw a place in the park that was particularly lively. And they were all people I knew. David's family, Lily, and also my Jessica and David. I stood in the shadow cast by the building, listening to David's mom point at David and say, How did I raise you? You actually learned to cheat. How can you do this to Sarah? David shielded Lily in his arms, preventing his mom and my Jessica from hitting her. David's dad was smoking, his brow furrowed. In the midst of the chaos, David shouted loudly, Lily's pregnant. Mom, Dad, she's carrying your grandchild. You've wanted a grandchild all these years. You all say Lily is the other woman. Fine. Then I'll divorce Sarah and marry Lily, and then she'll be my legal wife. As he said these words, I walked out of the shadow. He looked at me, his expression a hint of panic. David opened his mouth, as if he wanted to explain something to me. I cut him off and sent him the divorce papers. I've sent the papers to your phone. I'll give you the physical copy tomorrow. David, the 21st anniversary surprise you gave me was truly a surprise. Among everyone present, only Jessica was genuinely happy for me. She stopped hitting the other woman and the jerk, and ran straight over to hug me, congratulating me on escaping my misery. As I turned to leave, David stared at me blankly. I just left, ignoring the commotion behind me. The next day, Jessica helped me deliver the divorce papers to David. Meanwhile, I was lying in the hospital, having an abortion alone. The overhead light above me was very bright, making my eyes ache. After the surgery, I stayed in the hospital for 3 days to recover. When I was discharged, it was just in time to go to the courthouse. Even for the divorce, Lily had to interfere. In front of the courthouse, Lily linked arms with David, arrogantly pulling him into the building. With both parties agreeing to the divorce, the procedures went much faster. I held the divorce papers, the red on it was truly festive. David looked at me, hesitated to speak. Suddenly, he seemed to have endless things to say to me. He asked if I wanted to have a farewell meal, if I needed a ride, if we could still be friends. I answered no to all of it. Finally, he lowered his eyes, his voice bit as he apologized to me. Sarah, I added a line to the divorce papers. In the joint assets, I voluntarily give you the larger share, hoping you will do very well in the future. This way, we can at least part on good terms, right? Of course not. I didn't even look at him. I got into Jessica's car and walked away without looking back. We had almost had a child, and of course, I wouldn't keep this information to myself. David had the right to know. The next day, before boarding the flight to Maui, I sent the ultrasound scan to David. He replied very quickly. His voice was full of uncontrollable excitement. Sarah, we were going to have a child? The next second, I directly told him the news that I had had an abortion, and sent him the ultrasound image of the fetus I had lost. After doing all of this, I deleted all his contact information, then boarded the plane to Maui for a trip. I planned to stay in Maui for a week. On the evening of the 5th day, Jessica called me and said David and Lily had a huge fight. Their wedding, which was originally scheduled for the next day, was also canceled. Sarah, you wouldn't believe it, David's mom called my phone saying David was missing and she couldn't reach him. I already knew about this 2 days ago. Lily had texted me, asking where I was hiding her husband. At that time, I was enjoying the sea breeze. It was also then that I realized traveling really could change a person's mood. The dispute with David felt like something from a past life. I could even reply to her calmly. This is something you should ask the police, not me. Jessica told me a few more updates about David, laughing gleefully. I couldn't help but laugh along. However, this good mood only lasted until noon the next day. I ran into David in the hotel lobby. He had also shown up in Maui, and hadn't even brought a suitcase, looking like he had rushed here in a hurry. The moment he saw me, his eyes turned red. Ignoring my struggles, he hugged me tightly. Sarah, I was wrong. After you left, I realized I didn't want to divorce you, and I didn't want to leave you. You almost had our child before, and you definitely will in the future. I'm sorry, I just wanted a child of my own too much. You don't know how happy I was when I found out you were pregnant with my child. I listened quietly as he talked about how much he missed me. He cried, and tears fell on my neck, damp and making me feel uncomfortable. Sarah, I didn't marry her. Can we get back together? I replied calmly. David, marriage isn't child's play, it's not a game where you pick and choose. I pushed him away. I held up my left hand, the white mark on my ring finger was obvious. You threw our wedding ring into the river a year ago with your own hands to please Lily. Now I don't even have a wedding ring on my hand. Do you really think there's a chance for us to get back together? A year ago, he threw the ring symbolizing our marriage into the river with his own hands just to please Lily. After that, he secretly bought a diamond ring for Lily behind my back. Outside, he wore the new ring. When he came home, he took the ring off, leaving only a white mark. He betrayed our 20-year relationship without hesitation, then turned around to protect his new flame. David stood rooted to the spot, he lowered his head, looking at a loss. Sarah, I was drunk then, I didn't mean it. A clearer voice interrupted him. A young man in a gray hoodie and a baseball cap came to my side. Sarah, is this your friend? He looked at David, then at me. Then he smiled slowly. Oh, it's her ex. This guy was sort of my travel buddy. We were on the same flight, and he happened to be in the seat next to me. After landing, he also went to the same hotel as me, and happened to be in the room next door. David's body swayed slightly, looking at me in disbelief. I didn't want to get tangled up with him any further. I took my new companion's arm and started to walk out of the hotel. David blocked our way, still not giving up, wanting an explanation. Sarah, is this your revenge on me? Because I found a university student, you're also finding one to keep you company. He stared into my eyes and spat out 4 words. I regret it. I laughed. Yeah, after all, no matter how well an old man takes care of himself, he's not as handsome as a young guy. So stop being jealous. Didn't you teach me that? David probably remembered saying those exact words to a pretending to be sick Lily in the bedroom back then. Now I was giving them back to him word for word. He suddenly lost his strength, opening his mouth as if to explain to me. No, that wasn't what I really thought. I just wanted Lily to get better quickly. I cut him off. David, you're a doctor. Don't you know whether she has a heart condition or not? With that, I didn't look at him again and left with my new companion. After making sure David wasn't following us, I apologized to the young man in front of me. I was sorry for comparing him to a kept young man. The young man smiled dismissively, his obsidian-like eyes looking at me. Sarah, you deserve someone better. Because David had shown up, the 7-day trip we had originally planned turned into 6 days. My companion and I found out after returning to the hotel that David was also staying there, and he happened to be in the other room next door to mine. He would come out whenever I went out, following closely behind me from a distance. Even though he didn't make a scene in front of me, it still annoyed me. So on the 6th day of the trip, I changed my flight and returned home. What I didn't expect was for Lily to come to the airport to pick me up. She held up a sign with my name on it. I had originally intended to pretend I didn't see her. But Lily was persistent. She grabbed me, not letting me go. Sarah, I know David went to see you. I'm begging you, give me my husband back. I and the baby inside me can't be without a dad. In broad daylight, she knelt before me. Her voice was loud and pleading. The surrounding crowd was drawn in by her shout, gathering around to watch the drama unfold. She continued. Today was supposed to be my wedding with him, but he abandoned me the day before the wedding to go find you. Sarah, please give him back to me. I've been preparing for this wedding for so long. Her appearance wasn't as good as mine, and time had added a different kind of beauty to me. So I heard someone in the crowd say, "How shameless. The other woman is writing roughshod over the original wife. I don't know what kind of taste that man has, to not want the young one but insist on the older one. The original wife is so pitiful, kneeling to the other woman to beg her husband to come back." I also saw a few people pick up their phones, recording me, seemingly intending to expose me online. Lily was still crying. Sarah, if you're willing, I can let you be my bridesmaid, as long as you make David come back. Make me, his ex-wife, her bridesmaid, and watch them kiss on stage? I was so angry I laughed. Since she wanted to play the victim, I would make her even more pathetic. I lifted her face and slapped her hard. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw several people in the crowd pointing at me, indignant. I also heard someone say I was shameless, saying that the other woman dared to hit the original wife. I ignored all of it. I focused on the key points. Lily, what were you doing last week? You were with my husband, linking arms with him, going to the courthouse to witness my divorce from him. On the day I got my divorce papers, didn't you even kiss my husband and smile smugly? David is almost 41 this year, he's old enough to be your dad. What are you after? Are you after his age or his immaturity? And now you have the nerve to be here, asking for my ex-husband? The day I got the divorce papers, whether he's dead or alive has nothing to do with me. Lily was stunned. She probably didn't know how I, who used to be so easy to talk to, had become so sharp. The crowd gasped. I didn't care how others looked at me, nor did I care about Lily's expression. I turned around and left. David returned the day after I got back to the country. Jessica told me that David and Lily had another big fight. It was because the video of me slapping Lily had been posted online by someone with malicious intent. Now, not only did people at David's hospital know he cheated, but his relatives, friends, and neighbors also knew. His place was chaos, while mine was a peaceful life. I even picked up my hobbies again and participated in various volunteer activity. Before, because of David, I had left all the volunteer groups, but now I directly joined the volunteer association. To my surprise, every time I was in charge of a volunteer activity, I would see the same person. It was the young man I met in Maui. Whenever I organized an activity, he was always the first one to sign up. Every time, I would see him at the activity site, sometimes wearing a black jacket, sometimes wearing a gray hoodie. He was usually the serious type, but once he put on the volunteer vest, he became unexpectedly youthful and vibrant. After the activity, Jessica looked back and forth between me and him with her eyes. She asked with a smile, "Sarah, where did you pick up this younger guy? He's so obedient. Tell me about it, maybe I can pick one up too." I quickly covered her mouth. He's just my brother, don't overthink it. This kid is very well behaved, I don't have any other thoughts about him. Before I could finish speaking, the young man walked over and asked me directly, Sarah, do you still remember Maplewood Children's Home? Maplewood Children's Home was the orphanage where I used to volunteer. I volunteered there for 10 consecutive years. After marrying David, I quit my volunteer position because he didn't want me to have too much contact with children with disabilities. But I still remembered one child from the orphanage. He was very special. He was the only child who had been adopted and returned 4 times. I was also an orphan and understood that being returned made it harder to be adopted and even led to being isolated by other orphans. So when I was volunteering, I would pay more attention to him. After getting married, I also secretly donated to Maplewood Children's Home, just hoping to improve his life. I looked at the young man in front of me and could vaguely see the child's features. I said with emotion, "You're Ethan? You've grown so big, I didn't even recognize you." Ethan smiled. "Yes, Sarah, I'm 26 this year." On the way back, we kept catching up. Getting excited during the conversation, Jessica waved her hand and said we should eat at her place today. She excitedly prepared a lot of ingredients. I cooked, and they helped out. When the meal was almost ready, the doorbell rang. Standing outside the door was David. He had specifically come to clear his name. "Sarah, I didn't know Lily was such a scheming person. I was fooled by her too. I also didn't know she would set a trap for you, trying to make netizens think you were the other woman and get them to cyberbully you. Are you okay? No one cursed at you, right?" The video he mentioned had no real impact on my life. Instead, after I said those few sentences, more people online started cursing at Lily. However, his appearance, trying to please me and shamelessly begging to get back together, disgusted me. I looked at him. "David, you said you wanted to divorce me and marry Lily in front of everyone. Now your wish has come true, why are you pretending to be a good person in front of me? If you have any shame left, don't ever appear in front of me again. Let's part on good terms." I closed the door, intending to shut him out. David didn't care about the risk of the door catching his hand and blocked the gap with his hand. He asked me in a nearly pleading tone, "Sarah, are you cooking? Can I eat with you?" He sniffled, looking at me with nostalgia. "After eating your cooking for 20 years, my stomach has gotten picky. I can't eat food that you didn't make." I sneered. "Whether you can eat or not, what does that have to do with me?" Ethan walked out of the kitchen. He saw David lingering by the door at a glance. His brow furrowed. He walked over and stood beside me. "Sarah, should I call the police? What he's doing is harassment." Before I could say anything, David spoke first. He stared at me blankly, as if I had done something to wrong him. "What's he doing here? Sarah, were you trying to divorce me because of this kid? You said I was going after younger women, aren't you doing the same now?" The last sentence was almost a shout, but a louder voice drowned him out. Jessica threw down her spatula and came out of the kitchen, furious. "David, you jerk. Don't think everyone is as filthy/disgusting as you. Sarah never betrayed you, not once. Instead, during your marriage, you got involved with other women behind Sarah's back. Now that you're divorced, you're shamelessly begging to get back together. Have you no shame, David?" She used the spatula to push David out the door, then slammed the door shut. Jessica was afraid I would be sad, so she immediately transferred money, via a payment app, to me. "Sarah, don't be sad and troubled over a jerk like this. Your good days are still waiting for you." Actually, I was already indifferent to David. Now, nothing he did could make my emotions fluctuate even slightly. After that, David used an unknown number to apologize to me. He said he was so angry at the time, he was speaking without thinking. He also made excuses for himself, saying I was wonderful and he was sorry for what he did to me. I was annoyed. I just changed to a new number. But David still thought there was a chance for us to get back together/remarry. I liked doing charity, so he donated most of his savings to charity organizations. Because of this, Lily even came to my door to cause a scene. Her belly was visibly pregnant. She looked more bloated than before. Sarah, why won't you leave me alone? David donated all his money for you, just to get an award and recognition from a charity organization. How are me and the baby supposed to live now? Lily was out of a job now because her thesis was audited by the university administration and failed, so the school revoked her diploma. Without a diploma, she was also fired from the hospital. She could have gone back to retake courses, but she refused and instead went to live off him at David's place. I took a step back, just in case she had a miscarriage due to emotional distress, and tried to blame me. David came running from somewhere. He grabbed Lily by the arm, practically gritting his teeth. What are you making a scene about now? Didn't I tell you not to bother Sarah's life again? Get out! Lily broke down. David, can you just be normal? You were the one who said you had more passion with me, that I could give you more of the youthful experience. So I believed you. I gave up my studies and my hometown for you, and this is how you treat me? At this, David slapped her. He was so angry his eyes were red. And you have the nerve to say that? Don't think I don't know you got involved with the hospital dyer. Tore behind my back, saying you gave up your studies for me, when it's clear you believed the hospital director, thinking he could get you a job at the hospital. Even the child in your belly might not be mine. I threw the glass in my hand heavily onto the floor. The glass shattered into pieces. After they quieted down, I finally spoke. David, I loved you for 20 years, and only 20 years. From the moment you chose to divorce me, there is no possibility of us ever getting back together. I looked at him, many words finally turning into one sentence. Let's part on good terms. Do you really want me to think of you with only disgust when I'm old? David's expression changed. He took 2 steps forward, as if wanting to hug me. I was wrong, Sarah, I was really wrong. Please don't leave me. I didn't hesitate and closed the door right in front of him. It was quiet outside the door for a moment, then their arguing voices resumed, gradually fading into the distance. They left. After that, David didn't appear in front of me. I only occasionally heard updates about his current situation from others, and they were all negative news. The first was that as a surgeon, he was supposed to protect patients' lives with his own hands. But he intentionally prescribed expensive medications to patients to earn commissions. The second way I heard about him was a call from the police. David was standing on the rooftop, holding a knife, and with him was a heavily pregnant Lily, whom he held hostage. When I arrived, I heard him shouting at the police. Where's Sarah? Where is she? I need to see her. I learned from the police that David had been fired from the hospital due to unethical medical practice. He had lost his job and also happened to find out that the child Lily was carrying wasn't his. So, in a fit of rage, he took Lily hostage. The police were trying to persuade him. This is your fiancée, we can talk things out, don't be impulsive. But David became even more agitated. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't have lost my job and lost my wife, I wouldn't have lost my home. As he said this, he took a step back, looking as if he was about to fall off the building. The police asked me to try and persuade him. I walked onto the rooftop, staying 3 meters away from him. David smiled at me. Sarah, you finally came. Do you know? This made me lose everything, my job, my home, and you. Time had left its marks on his face, making it hard for me to find any trace of his former self. I spoke calmly. You can have all those things, as long as you look forward, you can have all of them. He laughed bitterly. The blade sliced across Lily's neck, leaving a line of blood. He hadn't used much force, only cut the surface layer. Lily was terrified and started crying loudly. Help me, please help me, Sarah. I don't want this crazy man anymore, I'll leave him to you. I'm in so much pain, please come save me. I also just realized that both of her hands were bleeding. David stopped her struggling. He practically screamed out. So why did you seduce me in the first place? If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have cheated. I must have been bewitched by you back then. Look at you now, how could you ever compare to Sarah? He was very agitated, but I just watched him silently. Even now, he was blaming Lily for cheating. If I hadn't found out he was cheating, he would have just kept carrying on with Lily behind my back for many years. Maybe when I was old, he would even have a girlfriend 20 years younger than him. Sarah, I really regret it. I just want to get back together with you. Without you, I realize how important you are to me. You said I'd have everything if I looked forward, but what do I have left? My job is gone, my parents cut ties with me, and you won't come back to me. Sarah, what can I see if I look forward? The police asked me to calm David down first, to prevent him from harming the hostage. I knew. At this moment, I should have calmed him down and said I was willing to get back together with him. But the words reached my lips, but I couldn't say them. To be honest, from the day I divorced him, I haven't loved him anymore. At this moment, I felt many eyes focused on me. David looked at me hopefully. Lily's eyes were full of pleading, and countless eyes. I opened my mouth and lowered my eyes. David, I'll be in your future. Put down the knife and come downstairs with me. As soon as I said that, David was stunned for a moment. Then he smiled, and smiled through tears. Sarah, you're still the same as before. When you say something you don't mean, you'll look away. I remembered the first time we were long distance. He traveled 2,000 kilometers to the city where I worked, just to see me. Because I also wanted to see him at that time, I secretly bought a plane ticket. But unexpectedly, we met outside the airport. He, 20 years younger than now, his eyes curved into a smile, asked if I wanted to see him too, which was why I came to the airport. I didn't want him to know I missed him. So I looked away, down at the ground, and said no, I was just there to pick up relatives. I still remember him suddenly hugging me, his voice was full of laughter. Is that right? But what am I going to do, Sarah? I really missed you. After that, to maintain my lie, I sat blankly with him at the airport for 3 hours. He didn't expose my lie, obediently sitting beside me, turned his head to look at me. 20 years passed in a flash. He had become the person he was now. David took one last look at me, and brought the knife down on Lily in front of me. I don't know why he killed Lily. I didn't see the bloody scene either. A pair of hands quick. Ly covered my eyes, it was Ethan. He covered my eyes and pulled me into his arms. Sarah, don't look. After killing Lily, David jumped off the building. There was a commotion downstairs, followed by the sound of the ambulance siren. I didn't go to see what happened to him. I went straight home. Jessica was worried about me, and Ethan followed closely behind me. A few days later, David's parents came to see me and asked if I wanted to see him one last time. I refused. David's parents, I won't go. I have nothing to do with him now. In the adult world, everyone makes their own choices. What they choose, what they enjoy, they have to bear the consequences it brings. My life is slowly getting better, and will only get better.